What's up, guys? Welcome to Good Morning Lambeau. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay, here to talk about this Packers 49ers win. And obviously, it's a Victory Monday. This is the highlight of every season. There's nothing better than a Victory Monday, man. It just consists, for me, Tim, I don't know about you, but for me, it's just do the morning show, watch tape, watch the McAfee show and their overreactions on Monday while I'm cutting up Chalk Talk. Man, it doesn't get any better than this. This is like heaven.
And enjoying the 49er fan tears that are flowing freely this morning. Gotta love it.
It is so bad.
Baby.
It's so bad. But we'll get into all of it. Appreciate everybody. I see the chat's already lit up. Thank y'all for making us a part of your morning as we get ready here on this Monday, November 25th, to just kick the work week's ass. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal here. But let's give a shout out real quick to the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since 1992, specializing in Packers tickets. They're Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Click on the link in the video description that'll send you to their website, theticketking.com. You can register for free as a customer and go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, that's Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Yeah, Tim, so obviously Tim sent this over to me, guys. I hadn't seen it. Hell of a quote. Thank you for making me aware of it, Tim. We'll just kick the show off with this right here. So over at, I guess it's Gridiron, Bleacher Report Gridiron, I think is what it is. I could be wrong. But Packers don't want to hear the excuses. So this is a quote from Keisean Nixon after the game. It's the NFL. It's not an excuse. We didn't have our quarterback. We won 3 games. So we don't want to hear that. We came to play. They should have came to play. Tim, you have the floor, sir. Thank you for, like I said, finding this, man. What an awesome quote.
Man, I love Keisean so much for this. I really do. Because, we talk about this all the time, right? There's 53 guys on a roster for a reason. It's next man up. You live and die as a team. And yeah, the Niners didn't come to play, obviously. Got a little interesting there toward, in the middle 8. We talked about it yesterday a little bit. Almost thought they were going to get back in that game when it was a 10-point game. But we just did what I've been, hoping for a while, which was just step on their neck and put that team away. And that's exactly what we did. And Keisean's right. We don't want to hear the excuses. We didn't have excuses. We got behind our backup quarterback and we were banged up and we found ways to win. So, it's the NFL, man. And it's big boy football. And, hey, Keisean can talk the talk, man. He played big boy football yesterday.
Yeah,
a couple of really good plays. And I just love the attitude. And I love the mindset. Glad Keisean signed that contract, man. I think he's earning his check this year. I don't care what anyone says.
No, I'm with you, man. He hasn't been perfect. But the fact that they were able to move him from slot corner to the boundary says so much. I mean, it's absolutely – it's huge. And the best way to describe Keisean, if someone had never watched Keisean play football and they said, hey, what kind of player is he? I would say high energy, high effort, and I would say he's a safety playing cornerback. That's kind of how he plays the game. You know what I mean? He's physical with his tackling ability. He can spy the hell out of the quarterback. We've seen that in the playoffs last year against Dak Prescott. You guys remember that sack he got in that game. But also, man, him going across the field to force that fumble all the way across the field. I'm sorry, man. I'll take that over the most talented player who isn't going to dip their shoulder in there and, try to make a play. I think Keisean plays the game the right way. Again, he's not perfect. I don't think he's a very good player, to be honest with you. I think he's good. I think he's above average to good. And when you throw in the fact that he plays with his hair on fire and plays with a bit of an attitude,
yep,
and never complains, he's never complaining about the scheme. He's never complaining about his teammates. He's that dude that he seems like he's a real guy. I like him a lot, man. And again, that was a huge play. Now you talked about when the game was 17-7, just a 10-point lead. Every week when I'm doing Chalk Talk, like this week I got 16 plays. But when I'm breaking down Chalk Talk every week, there's always 1 or 2 plays that I go, nobody's really talking about that play, but it was huge. It was huge. The big one to me, obviously the Keisean Nixon forced fumble was awesome and all, but the Xavier McKinney pass breakup in the third quarter, right on the cusp of the middle 8, you just exited the middle 8. It's 10:51 left, 4th and 2 at Green Bay's 39-yard line. You're up by 10 points. That pass breakup, man, what that was Kyle Shanahan said, let's flex Christian McCaffrey out and let's get him out in space. That's our best player, right? Let's get him out there in space. And the Packers matched it by bringing Xavier McKinney down and going, all right, one-on-one here. They ran a slay concept. Typical slay concept is a slant from the 1 and out from the 2, or a flat from the 2, I should say. This was kind of in between a flat and an out route. So it was like a 3-yard out with a dig. So they still call that slay. And they were trying to get a little rub on that, right? And Xavier McKinney just played an absolutely perfect pass breakup. He really came to play yesterday too. So again, thank you for making me aware of this, Tim. That's an awesome quote there.
I love it, man. He's a dog, dude. He's a dog. And like everything you said was so true too. Hard work beats talent every time. I don't care what anyone says. You can be the most talented player in this league if you're not out there busting your tail. We got scrappy guys in this league that are going to make you look bad. And that's Keisean right there for sure.
Yeah. Dane Stromstad in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Aaron Rodgers in the chat says, I quote tweeted the Niners post with the scene from Remember the Titans. Oh, football isn't fun anymore. Love it. Love that scene in that movie as well.
Oh, man. He's going to have so much fun on that trip back to Cali. That's going to be great, man. Man. Enjoy the Victory Monday flight for sure. Especially if you got a pterodactyl up here, man. Especially if you are running into 49ers fans, right? Oh, my God. And listen, take the high road. Don't say anything. Just grin and nod at them. That's all you got to do. Good morning. How are you? Just say, hey, we'll see you in the playoff. Oh, wait. Never mind. Yeah, I'm going to go grab a bagel. You need anything? You guys need anything? You good? Right. That's how you handle that for sure. I love it. I'm trying to learn how to do that on Twitter, but I still struggle. Let me tell you. Let's go to the chat. Nick McSwain says, good morning, PTA. Anyone else surprised when Brady said the Packers run on first and second down more than any other team? I don't know what the exact numbers are, Nick. Now, yesterday, first down passes, to the best of my knowledge, we only threw 5 first down passes. Like every week, it's tapering down, right? And again, yesterday we talked about that's what the game plan should be, and is really lean on the run. That may be the case, Nick, but I'm with you. That would be kind of surprising to me if that were the case, that the Packers led the league in first down runs. I could probably find that on the personnel website. I may dig through that later and see if we can get confirmation on that. Nick also says, also curious as to why they weren't kicking touchbacks. Debo was making me nervous after that big return. I'm not going to lie, Nick. It was making me nervous too. But it's obvious that they seen something with what the Niners were doing on returns that they wanted them to return the football, right? Yeah. Now, Tim, on the surface, whole bunch of penalties on their special teams. Do you think that might have been what they seen on tape? Like, hey, look, comparatively speaking across the league, this special teams unit for the 49ers got a ton of penalties. Let's make them return the football. You think that might have been it? I do. That sounds like Coach Bisaccia all day to me, right? I agree with what, I think Bates mentioned this last night that, it's okay to do that, but why the hell were we kicking the ball to Debo? Or maybe Emilio mentioned that, hey, kick the ball to the left side, kick it to someone else. But I think it was, and you looked at our special teams unit, man. We were getting after it. We broke off. We gave up that one that Debo broke off on us, obviously. But other than that, man, Rob Rochelle and the boys were playing really well on special teams, and I think maybe Coach Bisaccia figured, hey, maybe we'll get a turnover here on special teams on one of these plays. I mean, guys could have punched the ball out like we saw Keisean do. I mean, we were forcing turnovers left and right. So why not, and I think it was intentional. I don't think we need to have a conversation about, Brandon McMoney's leg because that was by design. You could tell in his approach. But I'm all for it. With these new rules, it's a little different. I think, even at this point in the year, I don't think anyone's really used to it yet. I think they're still kind of exploring these new kickoff formats. But I'm going to trust the guys that make millions of dollars to make these decisions, I may not understand it all the time, but, I'm with it, as long as we're not giving up, huge returns. And we only got bit in the butt on that one yesterday. So, and again, penalty. Yeah, exactly. Right. And they shot themselves in the foot too. So I think that was part of the logic there. I trust Coach B and, hey, we got the dub. That's what matters. Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, Nick in the chat. Still see people complaining about the win. Someone said they didn't blow them out fast enough.
Sit your butt outside.
I love that our viewers, our listeners, are cut from a different cloth than that. Like it's just, it makes me so happy that we've built a community here where you kind of flush that noise, flush that nonsense off to the side, and go, okay, look, we're actually going to talk about what happened, why did it. When something bad happens, we're going to talk about it. When you get a win, we're going to talk about why they won. When you lose the game, we're going to talk about why they lost. And there is a certain portion of the fan base, and it's a very, very minute, loud portion of the fan base, that no matter what happens, they're going to try to find the negative in it. And that's okay. That's cool. I just love that we try to keep that out of this show. I really do, man. Because, and I say we, not me, not Tim, not Emilio, you guys. Like, you look at the chat. The chat is really, really positive. Every now and again, you'll get a negative Nancy in there and everything. And again, when you lose, when things go wrong, it shouldn't be about, oh, let's harp on everything that's wrong. It should be, okay, what happened? Why did it happen? Is it fixable? Is that a roster change that needs to take place? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to get too deep into it, but it's like Rashawn Gary's still getting slandered. Like, it's every week there's a reason why he made a play. There's a reason why it wasn't a spectacular play. Like, he legit got a strip sack yesterday. He comes in, beats his guy like a damn drum, slaps the arm of the quarterback. The ball falls out because the quarterback recovered it and LVN tackled him. It's like, well, that wasn't really Gary. That was LVN. It's like, boys, it's like they go out of their way to try to find a reason why Gary isn't good. And like I'd said, I responded earlier on Twitter. I can't remember who tweeted at me, but I was like, bro, he's leading the Packers in pressures. As a matter of fact, I think he's doubled the amount of pressures of anyone else on the roster. He's doubled the pressures of anyone else on the roster, and he leads the team in sacks. He's not playing his best football. Nobody's saying that. But to sit here and pretend like Gary needs to be off the team is just mind-boggling to me. Because what you're looking for now is LVN to emerge, right, as that opposite edge rusher opposite Gary, and take some of that heat off of Gary, some of the chip blocks and all that. And you've seen LVN. We're going to hit some of the highlights here in a little bit. You've seen where he busted through a double team there and got the strip sack, right? Matter of fact, here we go. Mike Ebring in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. He says, how many snaps did LVN have? Maybe this is the start of something great, question mark. So when you go to the defensive snaps, LVN he only had 18 snaps. 18 snaps, and the dude made his presence felt. Pretty damn cool. So when it comes to the edge defender, since we're just glancing at this since Mike asked, you can see the top edge defender was Rashawn Gary with only 26 snaps, right? And then after him, it was Brenton Cox Jr. with 22. Then it was Kingsley Enagbare with 19, then Lucas Van Ness with 18. So they seen something in Brenton Cox Jr. that they wanted to try him. Now, immediately people go, okay, well, Brenton Cox Jr. didn't show up in the sack column. I don't remember him pressuring the quarter. I don't remember him. No, but the defense held them to 10 points. You have to take that into consideration. You know what I'm saying, Tim? Like, you got to take the whole body of work. Okay, how well did they gel together? Next week, it'll probably be LVN that gets the majority of the snaps, or maybe Enagbare, right? It's just you got to play the hot hand. Somebody might break a shoelace. Somebody might be a little winded. And then all of a sudden that drive ends and they don't get back in as quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and they're playing as a unit out there. And, say what you want about the stat sheet. Brenton Cox Jr. was, involved in a lot of these big plays. Him doing his job is what freed up the space for other guys to do their job. And that's what complementary football is. That's what Matt LaFleur was talking about. This game, being a great example of, I believe he said, complementary football at its finest. Everybody's playing for each other, doing their jobs. Your comment about, LVN, 18 snaps, and look at the impact he had on the game. We could say the same exact thing for JJ Enagbare. We could say the same thing for TJ Slayton. Definitely Carl Brooks. Colby Wooden, 21 snaps. Definitely played good football yesterday. It may not jump off the stat column. So what? Same thing with Kenny Clark. We can talk about Kenny Clark kind of being down lately. Made some plays yesterday. It was awesome to see him get that fumble recovery right after making a mistake and committing a penalty. That's what you want to see guys do. You want to have a short memory when it comes to making a mistake. Go out there and execute on the next play. They're playing as a unit, man. Say what you want. Devontae Wyatt, too, was effective. Christian McCaffrey did not light our asses up yesterday, and a lot of that is because these guys were playing together, playing for each other out there. So, stats are cool. We want to see sacks. We want to see pressures. But, I like seeing guys occupying a double team and freeing up their teammate to go in there and make a play.
Yeah. Coach Lynn in the chat, LVN season has begun. Yes, it has. And again, we'll hit on that sack here in a little bit. It was an awesome play for sure. Nick McSwain says, yeah, Ron, people still dogging the defense for giving up a touchdown, though. LOL. I don't get it, man.
They gave him 10 points.
Right. And Ron points out, held Christian McCaffrey to 31 yards rushing. Unheard of.
If you guys can't be happy about this win, I'm just going to pray for you guys. And
when he's saying you guys, he's not talking about people in the chat. Like I said,
no.
When we talk about this,
about the fan base that's complaining about what was the final score? 38-10, and you're complaining.
What got me too was they got loud there in the second quarter. All the negative, and then all of a sudden, by the start of the fourth quarter, crickets. Like, if you're gonna talk like that, at least have the balls to come back and go, hey, I was wrong, man. They finished strong. Good game. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We're all emotional. But they'll go quiet, and then they'll wait until Rashawn Gary trips or something in a game, and they'll point, oh, here, look at this goofball. It's like,
I got some advice for y'all. Take 2 weeks off, then quit.
Again, though, let's key in on the positive aspects of the game here as the Packers get a big win. So playoff probability. Fox Sports put this out. Green Bay Packers are the 6th seed right now, sitting at 8-3. They look dominant against a strong 49ers defense on Sunday. What? Strong 49ers? I was told that the 49ers were no good anymore. They looked dominant against a strong 49ers defense on Sunday, though it surely helped that San Francisco was without starting quarterback Brock Purdy. Whatever. It was still a second straight win out of the bye and 6 wins in 7 games overall. So they've won 6 of the last 7. The Dolphins on Thanksgiving night won't be a pushover, and then they head to Detroit. So things will get tougher for them. But they've given themselves a nice cushion. Their playoff probability is at 90% now. You love to see that. Now, here's the thing. 49ers banged up. We were banged up too, but they're banged up. That's how you should beat that team that's banged up, right? You should beat them by 28 points or whatever it ended up being, right? That's just wild to think about. The spread was 5.5 points then. We beat them by 28. Am I thinking right? Am my math right there?
Yeah, that sounds right.
So you create some momentum. You're going in to play a Dolphins team that's got the same level of momentum. They're kicking ass right now, right? So you go out there and play the Dolphins. If you could somehow, some way pull out a win on a short week there on Thanksgiving at Lambeau Field there Thursday night, you pull out that win, you create even more momentum, and you're going into the Detroit Lions game with all the momentum, and you're battle-tested, ready to go. Okay, let's see if we're ready to compete with the Detroit Lions yet, right? That's kind of how that feels. So pretty cool, though, probability. Like I said, playoff probability up to 90% now. As we look at the NFC standings here, this is through the playoff picture eyes, okay? And we'll get the
playoffs?
We'll get the cool graphic from NFL Nerd a little later in the week. Detroit Lions are the 1 seed at 10-1. Philadelphia Eagles are the 2 seed at 9-2. Seattle Seahawks are the 3 seed at 6-5. Atlanta Falcons are the 4 seed at 6-5. The Vikings are the 5 seed at 9-2. The Packers are the 6 seed at 8-3. Then you got the Commanders in the 7 seed at 7-5, and then the Arizona Cardinals in the 8 seed at 6-5 there. So the way that sits, Tim, you've essentially got there's only 7 teams that get in, right? Am I thinking right? Or am I mixed up here?
Yeah, it's 7.
Yeah. So they've got the Cardinals
in Atlanta at the 3 and 4 because the division, they're leading their divisions right now.
Right. And then you got Arizona in a similar situation there, right? Seattle now winning that division, but Arizona's on the outside of the playoffs looking in, I think is how this is. The spacing there throws me off, but what they're showing is the separation there, right? Are there 8 teams that get in?
No, it's
okay,
7.
It's definitely 7, right?
Yeah, it's 7.
I thought I was losing my mind just a second.
So the 8th team is kind of like the top in the hunt team.
Got it.
And I'm assuming that can you go back to that previous one? Yeah. So I'm assuming Arizona's on the bubble because Seattle has a tiebreaker over them. That's got to be the only reason why. It does look weird though when you look at the records. You're like, why are these 2 6 and 5 teams holding the 3 and 4 seeds, and we've got Minnesota and Green Bay and Washington with better records, but it's because of the divisional scenario. So a lot can change in the next few weeks. So,
oh yeah, and what I wanted to point out on this graphic is look at the 2-game lead you have on the Arizona Cardinals, and what I mean by that is if you lose 2 straight games you're still going to be the 7th seed, right? So you've given yourself some cushion there, although you want to – if you're going to make a Super Bowl run, you don't want to just back into the playoffs. You want to create momentum going into the playoffs. Now, sometimes you hope you peak a little closer to the playoffs. Look at the 2010 Packers. That's how they did, right? Sometimes you peak too early and everybody's got all this awesome tape on you. Then you go into the playoffs and you just hit a damn buzzsaw, right? And it ends the season. So you're in a good spot here where you can lose a game or two and still make the playoffs and ramp up right there at the end. And how cool would it be to face the Chicago Bears in Week 18 and get a run at that? You know what I mean? That's going to be awesome. So, again, the teams that we want to keep an eye on in terms of the Packers, they obviously control their own destiny from here on out. Green Bay does, but you want to keep an eye on the Washington Commanders, the Arizona Cardinals, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the LA Rams, and the San Francisco 49ers. Those are the teams that you want. If they drop one or two more games, it's pretty much done for them and the Packers. You're going to see them clinch a playoff berth. So, again, you got to take it 1 week at a time, no doubt. But anything else you want to add to that as far as the playoff picture here, Tim?
I just keep an eye on our divisional games. We finally got that divisional win against the Bears. We got some tough games coming up. That Lions game is going to be huge. Clearly, Detroit's going to win the division this year. But if we could leapfrog the Vikings by getting a couple of divisional wins here down the stretch, and then, like you said, setting us up for that last game of the year against the Bears at Lambeau Field, should be one for the books. A chance to we likely clinch a playoff berth prior to that game, but that a victory there in that final game could shoot us up in the rankings. Maybe get us a 6 seed or a 5 seed. We'll see. But like you said, you got to keep your eye on these other teams in the NFC right now. This is the most exciting part of the year. It's like Tom Brady said on the broadcast yesterday. Like football starts after Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And it's coming up here Thursday. Happy holidays to everybody out there. But it's going to get real on Turkey Day moving forward here. And we're going to really see the final push by these teams and a lot of exciting football in store for us fans out there. So keep it locked in.
Yeah, that was the old Belichick quote, too, where he say football really begins after Thanksgiving. It's like this is when football matters. You want to put yourself in a position to make the playoffs. And now let's as quick as possible, let's get to the point where we're playing our best football, period, case closed, right?
Absolutely.
I thought Tom Brady did a hell of a job on the call again yesterday. Man. I don't know about you, man, but he
started towards the end of the game when he was talking about this game not being a good indicator of what this Packers team is capable of. And he talked about he thinks we're a contender, but he thinks that there's some things we need to clean up. He felt that from an offensive standpoint that the football was at risk too much. I mean, that's a 7-time champion there telling you the truth. And, I feel good about that. That's some things that we can clean up going forward. And if we tighten up on offense there, man, we're going to be a force to be reckoned with, and if Tommy boy there sees it, hey, you got to believe it, man. The guy knows what he's talking about, right?
Yeah. If you guys would take a quick second, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all making us a part of your morning festivities here on this Victory Monday. So this clip right here, the Packers tweeted out last night, the guys exiting the field through the tunnel into the locker room. Let's see. Let's check it out here.
Big dogs, pack it back, baby. Pack, baby. Pack a W. Go. I'm ready to do. Go back, go, baby. W. That's how we get. A couple of guys just being dudes. That's how we do it. Football. That's a dub right there, man. Great dub. At the crib. Feeling amazing. On to the next. Let's get it.
Evan Williams, man. That dude, he's so damn mature for his age. It ain't even funny, man. Everybody's fired.
He looks like a 10-year veteran,
It feels like Xavier McKinney is bleeding off right into him. You know what I'm saying? Like Xavier McKinney's kind of got that accountability thing. Like, hey, look, you seen him throwing the tablet last week. There were people dogging him for that. I'm like, that is what I want to see.
That's passion right there.
Yeah, that's the dude that's, damn it, I let my team down. I gotta go out there and and get the job done next time. And you're seeing Evan Williams has a lot of that in him, but man, Xavier McKinney being in that room with Evan Williams and then Javon Bullard getting these meaningful reps, all this experience at slot and bouncing back and forth. safety room's finally fixed, man. It is.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I love to see Tucker Kraft having some fun there after the game. These guys, that's really cool, man. I love that the Packers do that with their social media team. Getting that live reaction as you walk in the tunnel after a victory, man. It's clutch. Yeah. I love it.
All right, so what we're going to do, things a little different. I'm trying to streamline everything a little bit better for us here. So we're going to key in. I've got it on my Twitter page here. So these are just some of the things that came down the pike that I thought was interesting. And Tim, if you will, mark chats and keep up with that for me, and we'll keep everybody involved there. So I said, is Devondre Campbell still having fun in San Francisco? As you can see here, he's airborne as Josh Jacobs leaves number 22 on his face in the mud there at Lambeau Field. Josh Jacobs, what a hell of a game, Tim. Just an amazing football player, man. That dude, that spin move that he hit, and I think on this, you're going to see that here in a second. We'll get to it. What do you think about Josh Jacobs, man? I mean, he's everything that we needed in a running back in Green Bay, right?
Oh, my gosh, yes. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday, too. Like, it's, believe it or not, it's possible to love Aaron Jones and still love Josh Jacobs. You can be unhappy that we lost 33 to the Vikings or whatever, but how can you not be excited about the way Josh Jacobs is playing football right now? I mean, the thing that caught my attention was every time they took him out to give him a play off and get a rest. Did you see how he would just go to the sidelines and he kind of never took his helmet off? He would just kind of squat down, stretch out the hammies, and he almost looked like, like one of those like bulls at the, getting ready to get out of the cage and get back on the field. It's like the guy doesn't want to stop playing football. He runs with a level of intensity that I don't think we've seen in a long time. And it's just fun to watch him play, man. And you can see that everybody on that team is just behind him and playing for him. And he gives us the juice, man, as they say. You get a lot of juice from Josh Jacobs, man. So glad he's a Packer.
Definitely. I rock in the chat. Happy Victory Monday. Good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you swinging through. Let's see here. Coach Lynn says Tom Brady gave props to Evan Williams. Like he's noticing Evan Williams. That's absolutely awesome when the GOAT is bragging on the rookie. J. Cole, I have to give love to Quay. Watching him in person, I see why the coaches love Quay. We talk about that all the time, Jay. It's like you see him hesitate from time to time, and it's frustrating because, Tim, when Quay turns it loose, bro, he turns it freaking loose. Like he's got all the athletic ability in the world. It's just I almost like want the coaches to go to him and listen, Quay, you're going to make mistakes. Stop worrying about making mistakes. Just play 100 miles an hour, right? Because it's obvious that playing with hesitation up to this point has not worked. Why not try the other side? You know what I'm saying?
I think maybe that happened at some point. Maybe it was Coach Campanelli or Coach Half. Somebody put their arm around Quay and said, "Look, man, stop playing like you're afraid to make a mistake. Right. we would rather you play balls to the wall and make a mistake. And we saw that. I put this tweet up yesterday. I thought this was funny.
How did I miss this, man?
That's where my head went right away. Like Josh Jacobs kind of doing the Michael Jordan shoulder shrug. For all you kiddos out there, that was a legendary moment, 1991 NBA Finals, when Michael Jordan basically could not miss a shot if he tried, and he didn't know what the heck was going on. And that was the vibe I got from Josh Jacobs, man. Every time that man touched the football, it was just gold. So shout out to our MJ, Josh Jacobs.
Love it. I remember that shrug. I watched that live as a kid. Now it was just phenomenal, man.
Crazy, right?
All right, ML Football tweeted out, Packers DB Xavier McKinney already has 7 interceptions this season. That's 6 more than the entire Giants team combined. Giants have 1 interception this year, guys. It's least in the league. Xavier McKinney has 7. That's the most in the league. Tied for Kirby Joseph in Detroit, right? Or tied with Kirby Joseph in Detroit. McKinney is the defensive player of the year, and the G-men had made a huge mistake letting him go. That's a wild statistic, Tim. Why the hell they would not keep him? And this is what we talk about modeling a roster is, again, those important positions, right? We talk about tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 2, post safety, mock linebacker, right? That's the 2, that's the second tier most important players on defense. You had him in-house. Why not keep him? I'm glad they didn't. Don't get me wrong. But it's pretty it's mind-boggling that they would not keep Xavier McKinney.
Yeah, and it's amazing that their GM still has a job out there. And I mean, you let Saquon and X go, and these guys are both eating right now. And your squad is arguably the worst team in the NFL right now. So I mean, hey, we'll take it though. Thank you. We appreciate it.
No
shout
doubt.
out to the GM in New York with the Jets and the GM in New York with the Giants. Really appreciate all your hard work for the league.
Definitely. All right, let's go to Coach LaFleur. This was the locker room speech that he gave after the big win there against the 49ers last night. You think he'll mention complimentary football, Tim? Because
I believe so.
it's complimentary football at its finest, man. Here we go.
That was complimentary football at its finest. Give it up for yourself. All three phases. In the second half, it was an interception by X that led to a touchdown. It was Van Ness forced the fumble. Touchdown. All right. And then Keisean Nixon running from the backside to get that ball out. Carl Brooks recovered that. Touchdown. How about Daniel Whalen?
Here's the guy.
Daniel Whalen is 133% Caucasian. Look at that guy.
49-yard average. That's a hell of a job, man. Hell of a job. Here's the deal. I do have one game ball because, listen, all the backs ran their ass off. And everybody in this room on offense blocking their ass off. But this guy tied a career high today. He had 3 tugs, all right? 26 to 106 is 3 tugs.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all boys, bro. It's been an honor, bro. Like coming here and winning, grinding with y'all boys day in and day out, trying to set that standards, set that culture. I appreciate y'all, bro. Let's keep going.
Hey, man, keep stacking. But like we said, quick turnaround, man. Get ready for Thursday night. Let's go pack on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Love it, man. You hear him getting emotional, Tim?
Yeah, man. That guy is like you had a great post, man. Josh Jacobs is all heart. He's the heart of this football team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Yeah, what can you say, man? That guy inspires his teammates. He draws the best out of his teammates. Like I said, these guys want to play for him. They want to play with him. We've heard guys make comments about, he's the type of running back you want to go out there and block for. You want to go knock someone on their ass so he can get, through that hole or make something happen. And great leader, right? I mean, this guy, he did it in his I don't know if you saw his post-game interview with Aaron Andrews, but it was more of the same from him, just talking about what a blessing it is to be a Green Bay Packer and to play with these guys. And that's leadership 101 right there, man. Josh Jacobs he's a gem. Thank you, Brian Gutekunst. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Badger Trio says Jacobs is the back you want with weather turning cold. And that's the thing. The colder the weather gets at Lambeau, the less those guys are going to want to hit on defense. That's been one thing that you always try to kind of put your finger on it, Tim. You're like, okay, why is it that some running backs, why is it the running game really ramps up in the cold weather? Is it, immediately you think the quarterback can't grip the ball as good because it's slicker, less humidity, and not being able to throw it. But one of the main reasons that you hear coaches and players talk about it is on defense, when it gets cold, when it drops down below 30 degrees, you don't want to hit. It hurts when you hit. And when you got a guy like Josh Jacobs that's inflicting the pain, it's going to be huge, man. Again, we went from a Ferrari that we had in Aaron Jones in Green Bay, Wisconsin, which most of the year, awesome, right? When that weather turns cold, you notice Jonesy would fumble down the stretch touch, right?
Yeah.
That was, and I'm not trying to dog him. That was just the reality of it. You knew he was going to make violent cuts, slashes that sometimes the ball was going to knock out. You think of the 49ers playoff game a couple years ago. Josh Jacobs is, we went from a Ferrari to a four-wheel drive, man, right? Yep. And when I say four-wheel drive, like Emilio said the other day, four-wheel high. There's a difference between four-wheel high and four-wheel low, right?
Right.
Jerome Bettis, four-wheel low, right? Josh Jacobs is kind of that four-wheel high, man. He can still, he can accelerate, he can cut on a dime, but boy, he's willing to run through people, man. There's no doubt about that. I think you're spot on there, Badger Trio. Mike Ebring in the chat says, I admit I was wrong about Jacobs. I thought he was physically washed up after his season last year. You know, Mike, we didn't think he was washed up, but you heard us say over and over and over, man, we were hesitant too. You wasn't the only one that was, I wouldn't say wrong, but we were like, are we going to get 2022 Jacobs or are we going to get 2023 Jacobs, right? And it's obvious that we're getting closer to 2022 Jacobs as he's continuing to ramp it up here, man. But, yeah, you wasn't the only one that was hesitant on that, right? Right, Tim, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Like, we're going from Aaron Jones to a guy who had a down year. Is he going to return to form or not?
Absolutely. And then we kind of saw it a little early on during camp. You saw the work ethic and you saw, okay, he looks pretty good physically. But now as we grind through the season, you see, you know, get to the locker room, take an IV, take some pickle juice, whatever they had to do to get you out there again. He's just tough as nails, man. And we know he's got issues, back issues and things like that. But I do appreciate the way that the Packers are handling him. You know, we talked about them lightening the load during the practice week, so that he's got enough in the tank for game day. And he's proven that we can ride him in these games and give him the ball, and that the durability factor is real. And so I think it was totally acceptable for us to have a little bit of concern like we did, thinking that, hey, like, what are we going to get out of this guy? But now I think, as you see at this point in the season, man, that they're managing the workload properly. I still believe 25 carries per game is the sweet spot. Anything there or above, we get results like this: multiple tutters, over 100 yards rushing, averaging almost 5 yards a carry. We noticed that early in the year, you give them 17 or 18 carries and you don't quite let them get the wheels turning. We're not getting the best out of him. We're getting the best out of him now. And I really think the staff is really learning how to utilize him, and our offense is way better having him on the field for sure.
Yeah. Coach Lynn, Jacobs blasted Mustafa on that sideline. You guys remember Mustafa that we were looking at in the draft? I'll tell you where he was at on my board. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He was not the best safety on my board, and he was there in a cluster where really he was probably worthy of being the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably the 5th or 6th safety off the board, according to my board. Good football player, right? And you knew that Mustafa was going to be physical, but yeah, Jacobs absolutely annihilated him. There was another one. I may be getting them crossed up. I remember Emmanuel Wilson did that at one time too. I tweeted it out. I would show it, but that was a TV copy, and we don't want to obviously break any copyright rules there. So
I thought Mustafa played pretty well, considering he was probably one of the brighter spots on the back end of that bang bang Niner gang defense that didn't show up yesterday. But I'm just happy that we ended up with Evan Williams, and not to take anything away from Malik Mustafa. He's a hell of a player too. But yeah, I just love the way we handled them boys, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anthony in the chat, Jacobs is the power back that complements this offense perfectly. I think that's very well put. Nate McSwain, Jacobs, first Packer player to have 100-plus yards and 3 touchdowns since Dorsey Levens. Should we give away a Dorsey Levens jersey next week, Tim? That might be a good time. Let me think.
I think so, yeah.
I got an autograph one here somewhere. We might break that out. Let me see. Don't hold me to it. Let me comb through. I got a bunch of autographed and memorabilia sitting over here in this corner that Mandy continues Shiloh shop, and I go, hey, go get me a couple jerseys. Matter of fact, I think she got a autographed Lucas Van Ness jersey last night. So
what? Another one?
Much like that one. So if we were bidding on it, if we get it, we may give that one away here soon. So
very cool.
Anyway, Greg Rice, sometimes you get the running back you want, sometimes you get the running back you need. Amen, man. Amen to that. Rel in the chat, all top 3 rushing yard leaders left all their organizations for success. Isn't it amazing what a competent quarterback and a decent O-line can do? And isn't it amazing, Rel, that the good teams in football don't buy in the BS rhetoric of you shouldn't pay top dollar for a running back. Like, you always hear that, right, Tim?
Oh,
and
yeah.
What's crazy is when you look at it from the other angle, you're paying top dollar for a running back. It's still much cheaper than a lot of other positions. So why not go get that guy, right? I mean, they did it. Obviously, the Packers did it with Josh Jacobs. The Philadelphia Eagles did it with Saquon Barkley. It's going to continue to happen, man. Pretty cool.
I mean, and here's the other thing. the narrative's always been to get away from these older running backs, right? The shelf life of a running back is, 3 to 5 seasons or whatever. And then they're past their prime and it's time to bring in some youth. And, why give them this second or third contract? Well, yeah, all top 3 rushing yard leaders, they're veteran running backs. What a coincidence, and that's not to take anything away from some of the young and up and coming talent in the league. But I think that there's a reason why we're seeing that right now. When you've got experience combined with the right situation, you can have some longevity in this league as a running back for sure. I mean, You see it right now, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and obviously with Josh Jacobs. So love it.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, the allergies, it's weather turning, Tim. It's getting me. I can feel it coming on. I'm fighting a sneeze over here. I'm trying to hold it back for dear life. But Badger Trio says, I legit think we are in for a fun ride for the next 2 months. I agree, man. I think it's going to be awesome. Again, there's a lot of stuff that you got to clean up, and I don't mean to overuse that cliche, but it's so true. There's still stuff all over that tape from the 49ers game. You go, yep, we need to fix that. We can fix that. We can fix that. So It's a perfect scenario. You create a momentum with a win, and you still got coaching tape. You still got teaching tape, I should say. It's absolutely huge late in the season right here. So tell you what, I think we're legit in for a fun ride for the second hour here too. So that's going to do it for hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour 2. We appreciate y'all. All right, hour 2, we are back. And let's continue on this Victory Monday here, Tim. Like I said, you see anything in the chat, you mark it. Let's go back to the Twitter handle. This was cool, a cool shot right here. That would be a cool frame picture to get. Tight end talk is what the NFL said, and it's obviously a picture of Tucker Kraft and George Kittle. Tucker Kraft was leading the league amongst tight ends in yak. I think he still may be.
Saw a lot of the fan base retweeting it, saying the best tight end in the NFL talking to George Kittle after the game.
Love it. And George Kittle went off yesterday like he always does. Like he's a dog, man. And if you guys, I don't know if you follow him real close, but his personality is awesome too, man. He is. He seemed like an old country boy. Him and Tucker Kraft, 2 peas in a pod right there, boy. Love to go out on a Saturday night with them and just at some podunk town that's got 4 bars in it and just bar hop all night. Could you imagine?
Oh, yeah. Pickup truck, case of Busch lattes, couple lung darts, ready to go.
Exactly. All right, another tweet from ML Football said, wild, 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel's salary this season is $22 million. The combined salary of the 7 Packers wide receivers is $8 million. Today in the Green Bay-San Francisco game, Deebo Samuel had 1 catch for 21 yards. It was on 4 targets as well. Packers, 10 receptions for 122 yards. So I don't know, what is that? Roughly a third of the money spent and about 10 times the amount of
We've been having this conversation for 3 years, and I love it. I'm here for it. I love it. I can't wait for the future. Let Goody cook. That's all I got to say. Let him continue to cook.
Yeah. Coach Lynn in the chat, 21 personnel with Brooks was a good wrinkle. Yeah, listen, Chris Brooks is the real deal, man.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be that solid contributor, good in pass blocking, great at catching the ball out of the backfield. When you need to call his number, you don't feel like the game's too big for him. And then Emmanuel Wilson is that backup running back that you want to tote the rock, right? So it's kind of, there's a little bit of what am I trying to say here? A little bit of negativity in the fact that when you put Brooks in, you're almost telling the defense, hey, we're passing here. And when you put Emmanuel Wilson in, hey, we're going to run the rock here, is what it kind of feels like. Doesn't mean that they both can't do, either or. But I'm with you, Coach. I don't remember seeing 21 personnel with 2 running backs, 1 tight end, but I'm sure it's there on tape. I'll go back and try to key in on that. That's awesome if we gave them a taste of their own medicine there.
Yeah, for sure. And as far as I'm concerned with this running back room, let's run it back. Let's keep the formula. I'm sure Goody will probably do something if there's good talent in the draft. It's not quite draft season for me, so I haven't really dove into it too much. But I'm a fan of these running backs that we have. I think that this is the best thing that could have happened. We talked about A.J. Dillon obviously missing this season, and the depth in that running back room. And I truly believe once we get Marshawn Lloyd back on the field too, this is going to be a running back room to be reckoned with in the future. Honestly, I think we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 punch with these running backs. And I think you're right. Even if you kind of do snitch on yourself and that defense knows hey, they're going to run based on this personnel or based on who they brought in, or they're going to pass. It's like, yeah, still can't stop it. It's almost like the old, you're calling your shot. You're telling the defender what you're going to do to him, and he still can't stop you. I'm here for it. I love it.
Yeah. Coach Lynn says Debo washed. There's a real thing that happens when players get paid. It's the reality of the NFL. Some guys are not going to get paid big and continue to play the way they have played in the past. They're just not. It's like, I don't want to say they don't care or whatever it is, but it's kind of like that whole you've arrived thing. And I think that's why it's important to have a roster that's filled with some players that are still fighting for their football lives. Like that's why undrafted free agents are huge. You essentially signing an undrafted free agent, I think you get rights to them for like 2 to 3 years from a restricted standpoint. And they've got the biggest chip on their shoulder. And it's why we've been talking here lately. Maybe you need to start trading back out of the first round into the second and third, compiling a bunch of picks, taking multiple swings, since that seems to be Goody's sweet spot. And what you're going to get with those players are players that have a chip on their shoulder because they fell out of the first round. There's a little bit of that too. Now, listen, teams aren't going to do that. Their grades are their grades. And if they got a solid grade on a player, they're going to go, hey, look, this dude is worthy of a first-round pick. We're taking him, right? And who the hell am I to say, no, they shouldn't do that? But just wonder if the aforementioned might come into play a little bit. Already Iron Miner, will Marshawn Lloyd be ready this year? I'm thinking either this week or the next week is what I'm thinking, Iron Miner. Hopefully we'll get him back soon. But you know what's cool? Even if we don't get him back soon, Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks are showing that they can tote the rock in the meantime, right? So,
and not to mention the personnel we have in that wide receiver room that we can use on those jet sweeps and those flyers. That was one of the things that I liked. We did that a couple of times. The little quick shooter to Scoot. Had him hurdling guys on the sideline, things like that. So we have the ability to use guys like Jaden Reed, Bo Melton, Christian Watson as pseudo running backs in some of these sets. I noticed that yesterday. We'll probably get into it on Chalk Talk. I'm sure we'll have at least one of those plays that made the cut. We had those option plays where, as a fan, I'm going, oh boy, here comes the jet motion. And then it's like, we're faking that. And then we're faking the pass. And then we're handing it off to the inside. You get that run. We saw Jacobs get huge chunk runs up the middle. Emmanuel Wilson had a couple of nice runs. So the deception and the threat of utilizing those Packers receivers as runners is what keeps those defenses, off kilter, and it's really effective. So I'm not overly concerned about not having Marshawn Lloyd out there, other than the fact that you want to see the rookie get as much reps as you can, and really build that momentum, get those legs under him, get used to that NFL speed, that NFL contact. And we all know we can look at Marshawn Lloyd's tape at USC, and he's just jumping all off the film. The guy is extremely talented. So you want him to see the field, but it's nice to feel like as a team that we don't really need him, at this point. Obviously you want him out there, but like you said, Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks, man, they're getting the job done. And, Josh Jacobs is a stud. So I'm just waiting to see that Marshawn Lloyd return. It'll be nice to see him get some reps though.
Yeah. Coach Lynn in the chat. I think Debo is fat.
Thick.
Go. No body shaming in here, Coach. No, I'm just joking.
I think Debo's just banged up, man. That guy's had some injuries, and Father Time is undefeated.
Catching up.
Yeah.
Now I'm with you, Coach Lynn. I thought he looked a little thick yesterday too, man. And again, like Tim said, the way they've utilized him, and that's why he wanted to get paid, is like, look, you guys are using me as a running back and a receiver. I should get paid, twice as much money, is essentially what he was saying. Now, obviously, that's never going to happen, but he did get a good chunk there, obviously, before the career is winding down for him. So another tweet that went out by Seth Walder said, highest pass rush win rate at edge in week 12. If this holds, it would be the second consecutive week that Chop Robinson is number one on the list. You guys remember Chop Robinson in the draft? Was that last year or the year before? That was the year before, was it not, Tim, or was it last year?
No, that was last year's draft. Yep.
He was
on our board with the running backs, right?
He was Chop Robinson was second on my board as edge defenders. Okay, I had him as an edge, not as a linebacker. Only behind Leatu Latu. Okay, so And I even had Latu lit up in the red. So you would argue that, hey, and they're so close together there in the same tier that if you had to choose between those two players, I would have taken Chop Robinson over him because of the red, right? Although Latu had a slightly higher grade than Chop. So Chop proving that he's the guy. I know this was Mark Tauster's dude that he wanted the Packers to draft. If they had taken him, you would have hit a home run on it, but that's the draft, man. Second, though, this is what I wanted to get to. Week 12, second, Danielle Hunter with the Houston Texans. Third, Nick Herbig with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And number 4 on the list, the 4th highest pass rush win rate in the entire NFL in Week 12, Rashawn Gary. So Rashawn Gary continuing to ramp up here towards the second, or in the second half of the season, towards the end of the season. The dude's a dog, man. Listen, you can turn on the tape early in the season and see what was going on with the scheme. There's no reason in arguing with people with it, because the second you point out, hey, look, this is not how they're rushing right now. If you'll notice, they're rushing 4, but they're actually only bringing 3. That's where people get offended, like, oh, he's one of the tape guy. Now I'm just explaining to you exactly what the hell's going on here. He's having a down year, don't get me wrong, but here he is again, man, top 5 in pass rush win rate. Sean Gary really cranking it up.
I love it. Proof positive that facts do not care about your feelings.
Exactly.
You can feel however you want. The facts are the facts.
Yeah. And what gets me is the Packer fan base, when you post something positive about Rashawn Gary, they get mad. Like they have to come. And here's what it comes down to. People get overly emotional, especially during the game. And they'll tweet out during the game, and they'll tweet out something negative about a player. Well, now they can't go delete that tweet, right? They're not going to do it. So when a good play happens, or that player redeems himself like Gary has, now they have to come in and defend why they had that opinion, right? And explain why Gary is still trash.
And it's usually never rooted in anything factual or anything that has anything to do about X's and O's or anything. It's usually some vague statement about pressures or sacks or something,
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so here is a play that I cut up this morning from NFL Pro. Josh Jacobs puts San Francisco in a turnstile with the spin move. Number 8 is heating up just as the weather in Green Bay is cooling down. Check out this play right here. And first of all, look at all the eye candy. So you have your F, Jaden Reed, in the backfield. So this is the pony package, essentially, right? You got Jaden Reed sidecar left. You've got Josh Jacobs sidecar right. You're going to bring over pre-snap Tucker Kraft across the formation, okay? Ball is snapped. All right, now he's going to set up, and I think he's going to sift back across.
Yep.
So you're going to fake the handoff, right, to Jaden Reed, the F, who's going to then run around Jordan Love. I might be able to just roll it like this, do it like this. So look at the fake here, Tim.
This is what I was talking about. Yep.
Yeah. So you fake to Jaden Reed. Now look at Tucker Kraft up here. Is going to sift across. Notice Zach Tom completely ignores this defender, right? So this is what you call slice or split flow or split zone, okay? The Eagles made it really, really popular back in the late 2000, or I think it was the early 2010s is where they really utilized split flow a lot. So you get the whole offensive line kind of blocking zone left. Some people were asking, is it duo? And I understand why you would ask that. Look right here.
Yep.
Double. And look at Myers is trying to get to the second level, and Tom is going to look to get to the second level, right?
Yep.
So you're going to see Tucker Kraft come over, seal it off. You're faking the handoff to Jaden Reed, and you're actually giving it to Josh Jacobs. Tucker helps seal the end here. Perfect block by Tucker Kraft. Look at that right there, Tim. Let's go. And then Josh Jacobs is just going to put this 49ers in the turnstile. Look at this, man. You ready? Spin cycle time. Whoop. Look at that, bro.
The fact that he can jump cut into a spin move is insane to me.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's just absolutely awesome, man. What a play.
So it's like when you need him to be that quick, agile, flyer type of running back, he can do it. And then when you need him to lower the shoulder and play big boy football, he can do that too, man.
Yep. He does it all. The way he sets him up too, like he's going to cut back.
Yeah.
He's just awesome. And again, Tucker Kraft kind of makes that whole play happen. Look at that block, bro. Who's 56? Who is 56? That's not Campbell, is it? That ain't Campbell.
No, Campbell's 59. He's the last one in on the play. You'll see
And
him.
Warner's, of course he is. He's easy to find, right?
He ran into Josh Myers there. Fred Warner got blocked into oblivion too.
That was Josh Myers.
Arguably the best linebacker in the National Football League. We made him look like a child out there.
Yeah, Josh Myers actually seals off the what would turn into the sandbacker. Watch him. He seals him off and hits Fred Warner too. He actually takes 2 guys out on that play.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Josh Myers, man.
Eating up.
Man. For all the crap that he's caught over the years, man, it's cool to see him coming out the other side here. Really having a good second half of this season, man, really. And playing hurt too, banged up.
Yeah, definitely. Again, Elton does a great job sealing that off as well. Yeah, good play call, man. Love the play design by Matt LaFleur there, getting creative.
That worked every time too. We ran that several times, and it worked. It was successful.
All right, this play here is a lot of fun. See if we can go full screen. That's a little bit better, ain't it? Let's do that. So notice Keisean Nixon at the bottom. The arrow should straighten out here in a second. All right, so here's Keisean on the bottom. This is the forced fumble. Watch how far he goes across the field to make this play, Tim. This is insane. So he's going to track all the way across the field and punch the ball out at the very end. If he hesitates a quarter of a second, McCaffrey is down where he can't punch that ball out.
Yep.
And it's a really good angle right here. Watch him just come flying in. Reckless abandon, bang. Gets that ball out of there. Just a great play by Keisean Nixon, man. Again, he's not perfect. I wouldn't call him a great corner, but the fact that he's able to move from slot to the boundary, to the outside, and then he's always willing to stick his nose in here like this to make a play, it's absolutely huge.
I think one of the biggest improvements to his game, and this may have come from the fact that we needed him to go to the outside this year, is his vision on the field, and that's why he was able to make this play coming from the opposite side. If you look, he doesn't neglect his assignment, but the minute he realized the play is going the opposite way, he's off. I don't think we saw a lot of that. I think when last year when you're primarily in the slot, it's a little bit different, and you want to keep your focus on your assignment. You're asked to do a little bit more sometimes in the slot when it comes to like a pass rush or maintaining the edge or contain. When you get out on that boundary, you can do a little bit more freelancing here and finishing out the play. I mean, it's crazy. The guy furthest away from the ball on this play is the one who ultimately punches it out, and just a hell of a football play by K9 there.
Notice who recovers the fumble too. All hustle, Carl Brooks. Look at Carl. Yes, fighting, right in a good spot. Carl Brooks is always around the football when things like this happen, man. It's amazing.
Absolutely. And you're so right about Keisean not hesitating, because when I watched it live, I thought for sure McCaffrey's knee was down before the ball came out. And I thought this was going to, be blown dead and not be a turnover. And then you see that camera angle and you're like, my gosh, like a half a second later, and it's not a fumble. So just a great play by Keisean, man.
And I rock in the chat making a great point. Javon Bullard with the tackle is great as well. Yeah. So watch Bull on this play. He hammers down, avoids the block, like you said, getting in position to make the tackle there is huge. That's a big asset to having him in the slot. His strength of his game, at least early on in his NFL career, Bullard is who we're talking about, isn't coverage, but it is attacking the ball carrier, no doubt. So you having him in the slot down there and a little closer to the football, and watch him hustle all the way across the field just like Keisean, man.
Yep.
It's just great job, man. Great job all the way around.
I think it just shows the versatility we talked about all during the offseason, right? You got a guy like Keisean now that, if we need him to go back to the slot, I'm not worried. He can play there. He's serviceable there. And he's proven that he can hold his own on the boundary with Jair being out. And then you look at Javon Bullard, right? You want him, we need him to play slot corner. He can play slot corner. If we need him on the back end at free safety or strong safety, I mean, kind of interchangeable there. He can play there as well. So it really just makes us more versatile on defense, and I love it.
Yeah, Coach Lynn in the chat. We may need to keep Josh Myers, and then J. Cole. Josh Myers is about to get paid. Listen, I think the Packers are probably going to re-sign him. You guys know I disagree with it if you pay top center money, but it's what I said about Kenny too. You know, if they decide Kenny Clark needs to be paid top 3 at his position, who am I to say no, he shouldn't? Now, that one's kind of backfired a little bit. Obviously, it seems like it hasn't panned out. Here's the thing. Coaches, and this is Bill Belichick 101, coaches look at what players can do, not what they can't do.
Yep.
And what did the Packers put a prime on? They put a prime price tag on pass blocking on their offensive line, right? Josh Myers is a really good pass blocking center. The problem is the negative aspect of his game is run blocking. Okay, that's where he struggled. So with that being said, if it's a reasonable price, I think the Packers are going to re-sign him. Now, I can understand the folks that disagree with that. I can understand the folks that want him back. Maybe that'd be a good poll question for tonight. Would you re-sign? What contract would you re-sign Josh Myers to? Top 3 center money, top 5 center money, top 10 center money, or just minimum contract type thing? You know what I mean? That might be a good way to gauge the fan base on, hey, what do you think he's worth? But Tim, at this point, are you hoping they re-sign Josh Myers? I know it's been kind of up and down his entire career here with us having conversations about it. I think I'm in that, probably like that $5 to $7 million range per year. Anything more than that, I don't want it. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I'm not a big numbers guy. I learn a lot from you, about the contracts and things since becoming part of the posse here, and I love it. So I don't really want to speak to the terms. I guess I'll use the vague example, like you said. I'd be cool with that slightly above the minimum type deal, maybe a top 10 center kind of contract. I'm with you because I do think we should bring him back because, we've seen him when he missed the game. We had Elton step in there and kind of discombobulated things on our line. And so my question is, if Josh Myers isn't your center in 2025, then who the hell is? Who is the center?
Got to go find him, don't you?
Right. You got to go find one. And it's like at this point in our development with this offense, Jordan Love, second year as a starter, we've got first, second, and third year receivers and running backs. I don't know if you want to, the center is the transmission of your offense, like if your transmission doesn't work, the car's not going anywhere. And I think it's vital to have that consistency. I think Josh Myers has progressively improved slowly but surely over the years. And I think now at this point, he looks like a guy that's settling into himself as a pro. And, I would rather not shake things up too much by, bringing in a new guy, unless they have their eyes on someone that's already here. We talked about Jordan Morgan being moved around, tackle to guard to, I don't know, can the guy play center too? Who knows? But I think Josh has been, if anything this year, at least consistent. We haven't seen too many more snap the freaking ball Josh moments or anything like that. So, we haven't seen stupid penalties from him. The things that we, bitched and moaned about with him they've disappeared, all but disappeared at this point. And I would hate to cut and run from him now, just when he's hitting his stride with this offense.
Yeah. Coach Lynn in the chat says Sean Ryan played center at the end of this game. He may be the center of the future. And it's funny, I was getting ready to say this, and then Harry Cheese actually put it in the chat. He said, what if the rumor that they had their future center in the building was Myers all along?
Exactly.
Well, here's the thing. When I think it was Rob Domofsky that broke that information, he said that someone in the building told him that their future center is already in the building, and he did specify Josh Myers was not it. Yeah, I remember that specifically because he said when he said that their future center is already in the building, it was coming from an angle of, hey, Josh Myers is struggling. Are you guys thinking about making a change? And their comment was, our future center is in the building. The way I took it was someone else. Now, immediately you think, for me, I think it's Elton Jenkins. I think that if Josh Myers does not sign does not agree to a team-friendly deal and they decide to let him walk in free agency, I think he's going to get top 3 center money in free agency. I believe that because he's a physical freak, right? Much like John Runyon got top money, and to me, Josh Myers is a much better player than John Runyon is. So if John Runyon was getting that money at guard, you damn well bet that the center position is more important and going to get top center money when he hits the market with those kind of measurables. But I think it would make sense for me to put Elton Jenkins at center, right? And then kick Jordan Morgan to left guard and have Sean Ryan play right guard. The fact that you got Jordan Morgan, a tackle in college, who once he's healthy is going to be a really good guard in the league. They think really, really highly of Jacob Monk too. So it could be one of those scenarios where if for some reason Elton is the center and he goes down with an injury, you got Sean Ryan and Jacob Monk who can step in as the backup center, and then the other two guys just stay in place at guard, right? And we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. We're going to have plenty of time to talk about this in the offseason, which I'm really excited about. The offseason is so much fun, man. And we still do a daily show here and cover all that stuff. If you guys are new, first time tuning in, we go live daily, most of the time, multiple times daily. All through the offseason, we'll be bringing you every bit of the coverage for the roster building. There is literally no day off here at PTA in the offseason. So feel free to sub to the channel, hit that like button while y'all are hanging out. We appreciate y'all. Myers talk is always intriguing, man, because again, he's a physical freak. Chris in the chat says up as of lately 5 to 10 top center spot. There you go. So somewhere between 5th and 10th. And here's the thing, the market doesn't care about your feelings. Like you said, you know, facts don't care about your feelings, Tim. The market doesn't either. The market is what it is. Like that's the conversation I was having on Twitter earlier today. It was like Rashawn Gary's overpaid. You can say he's overpaid, but the market is what it is. Yep. If you're gonna re-sign Gary, that's what you had to re-sign him at. If you're saying you want to let him walk, I'm not on that team. Because imagine if we did not have his production this year, we would be without. I don't even know what it is. We could go to NFL and Pro and check. It's probably up to 40 pressures now, and he's leading the team in sacks. If you think the pass rush is underperformed up to this point, imagine if you didn't have him on the roster. So again, the market is what it is. When you go to sell your house, you don't sell your house. You don't get what you think your house is worth. You get what the market thinks it's worth. And you got to make a decision. Do I sell it at the market value, or do I sit on this hellhole for the next 2 years and keep on eating cost, right? Yeah. Same thing with a player. That's the market. Are you willing to pay that or not? If not, you got to be willing to deal with the ramifications of, hey, look, we don't have a true number one pass rusher now. And I think Gary's going to ramp it up. And by the end of the year, those critics will all disappear. You're seeing it every week now, Tim. He continues to ramp it up. And with Josh Myers, he's peaking at the right moment, man. Yeah. He really is, you know.
And that's why I'm in the camp of I'd hate to cut him loose, man. I really would. And I don't think he's a guy that's gonna, you know, you got to pay me top 5 center money. You know, I want $8.5 million per year. And
I agree. Yeah, he doesn't.
I don't see him being that dude. I also don't see him taking, you know, minimal contract. He's going to want to get paid. But I guess I slightly disagree. I'm not a huge fan of Elton Jenkins at center. I'd almost prefer Sean Ryan at center. But then again, when it comes to Sean Ryan and Elton Jenkins, I love these guys right the hell where they are. Left guard, right guard. Sean Ryan, it took 2.5 years, but this dude is balling at right guard right now. He's really hitting his stride. As a backup center, of course, rotational in an emergency, can either one of those guys step in and not be a liability out there? Of course. But as far as going forward, I prefer them where they're at. But you're right. We have the Jordan Morgan factor. You know, we've got a first round pick that's got to see the field and deserves to see the field once he gets back. And I think you're right. I think left guard is a spot for him, so that may jumble things around. But I'd love to see Josh come back at center. I really do. So fingers crossed. Like you said, we got the whole offseason to have these conversations, right?
Yeah, I was trying to see cap rankings for positions. Just to kind of see, okay, who is the highest paid cap hits, and is there a center in there? 2024 offensive line, and this is cap hits, guys. So keep in mind, it's not the overall contract, this and that. This is just what's allocated to the cap in 2024. Let's see if we can find the first center. Just quick reference, and then we'll continue on here with Victory Monday. I think it's important to hit this stuff while we go here. So it looks like the top paid in terms of cap hit of centers in the NFL is Ryan Kelly with the Colts at $14.6 million cap hit. That is wild. Frank Ragnow with the Detroit Lions is sitting at $12.8 million. and this is what I'm getting at, Tim, is like the market is what it is. Josh Myers is not Frank Ragnow. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to kind of, but at the same time, going with the Rashawn Gary conversation, it's like Rashawn Gary isn't TJ Watt either, right?
Right.
So it's the market is what it is. And then the next center, and then we'll get back here real quick. Just want to hit it. Austin Corbett for the Carolina Panthers, $10.1 million. So what you're looking at, if you're going to re-sign Josh Myers and you're paying top money for him, if he is going to play hardball, you're looking at $10 million, $14 million, and let's see, 10 million, between 10 and 14 million is what the going rate is for the number one center. So
yeah,
that's why
I think you're right. Then I think you're talking 8 million tops, probably.
Right, somewhere between 5 to 8, and if he doesn't sign it, you move on. And again, it depends on how highly they think of the other offensive linemen in the building that could potentially play center, whether it's Elton, whether it's Sean Ryan, whoever it may be, Jacob Monk. Jacob Monk may get another full training camp under his belt, and they go, hey, this guy's too damn good to keep on the bench, right? That could happen. He was one of their favorite players in the draft, no doubt. So one of my favorite players here is Tucker Kraft, and I put this tweet out earlier. I said 2 things: Jordan Love changing arm angles to thread the needle to Tucker Kraft on the Y screen, and Tucker Kraft running over players on both sides of both teams to find pay dirt. So notice not only does he flatten 49ers players on this play, Tim, but he runs over Josh Myers too, which is get out of the way, Josh. We're going in. So Tucker Kraft, man, is just an absolute dog. There it is, forklift certified, right? Look at this dude, man, how violent.
I just love how Jordan got that ball. Like,
look at the arm angle.
How the hell did he get the ball in there to him?
Yep.
Right through the defense. I mean, that was impressive. And then, of course, the Yak Master doing what he does. But that's a pretty tight window, even for a screen here, a check down.
Yeah. Like you said, look at that. Right between 2 defenders. Tom doing just enough to not get called for a hold. Got his hands on the inside of the shoulder pad there. And Tucker,
that's really all Tucker, though, man. Engage with the block and then release immediately and become a receiver. That was just beautiful. If you can see it right here. Going to engage, and then boop, I'm off you, and I'm open.
Yeah, what I love about it too is the play design by Matt LaFleur. If you'll notice, he'll have Emmanuel Wilson run the swing route, and that takes Devondre Campbell out of the play completely, right? And now you've got that plus hat count. Now, if Devondre Campbell stays at home, you probably pop that swing pass out and keep it moving. But notice Dre Campbell goes out of the camera angle, and again, look at this, bang, catch. Josh Myers trying to get up there, but Tucker's just like, come on, Josh, we're going in. You're going in with me. But look right there at Dre. Dre's looking around right here, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4 49ers on the field, and he's going, why the hell did I leave Green Bay? What am I doing? What am I doing out here in San Francisco paying all these taxes? What the hell's going on? Again, just a huge play from Tucker, man. Dude's an absolute dog. I keep seeing that picture of him and Kittle together, man. I think we got one of the league's best here moving forward. No doubt about it.
For sure.
All right, let's move it along to the
Greg Rice in the chat. Who? Campbell? Never heard of her.
There's the other tweet I put out where I circled everybody and put an arrow at Dre. I had to do it. I'm sorry, man. He talked a lot of crap. Talked about how Green Bay was dysfunctional and he was happy to be in San Francisco. And
changed the record, man. You said that when you left the Falcons.
Everywhere you went, man. Everywhere he's went, if it hasn't worked out, it's the team's fault. And if it has worked out, it's because of him. That's it.
Yep. I will say this. We did get one good year out of him. Thanks, Dre, for that one stellar season.
Yeah. Another tweet we put out, one of the most important plays of the game featured Xavier McKinney matched up one-on-one with Christian McCaffrey. Packers were up 17-7, third quarter, 10:51 left. You're right outside of the middle eight. 4th and 2 play. 49ers decide to attack with a sleigh concept. It's a sleigh rub. And essentially the way that works, guys, we'll go here. With sleigh, typically the number 1 receiver, here's the number 1, will run a slant, okay? And the number 2 will run a flat route. So it's kind of a hybrid of both. The number 1 is going to go out and try to dig out Xavier McKinney and run just a shallow dig, while our boy Christian McCaffrey is going to try to run a shallow out route. Okay, that's essentially what they're trying to do here. And if you watch the play, watch McKinney right here. There is zero hesitation as he just clamps down right there. The ball's coming out. McKinney's already breaking on the ball. Pass breakup. I think I've got another angle here where you can see how fast it happens. It really, right here, really makes you appreciate what happens here. Look how fast he breaks on that ball. Look at that. Tim, Xavier McKinney's a dog. And this is what we were talking about. Kyle Shanahan, when the game's on the line, think player, not play. Your best player, Christian McCaffrey, let's put him out in space. We know if we run the ball, they're just going to load the box. This right here, the fact that they're throwing on 4th and 2 with an empty set tells you all you need to know about Jeff Hafley. Absolutely shutting their run down, right? And what did we do? We said, all right, we'll put our best guy on your best guy, and may the best man win, and he did. As like I said, McKinney clamps down on that out and just watch the ball away. That's a huge play. That's not going to make a whole lot of highlight reels. But 17-7, they're in Green Bay territory, coming out of halftime, all the momentum.
Yeah, ball. You know how important that play was. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love it. I think Coach Half did a really good job of a balanced kind of attack. I think at times we saw a little bit more of a pass rush than I thought we should have had. We talked about that in the pregame, that if the plan for San Francisco was to get the ball out quick when they're passing, and we're rushing 5 or we're rushing 6, we saw them send Quay on a lot of them. A lot of those looks that you thought it would be sugar, Quay was actually coming. And, it did bite us in the butt a few times. But here, just the coverage is incredible. I think, just rushing 4, keeping them in the well like that and letting our boys do their job, that's huge. And arguably one of the bigger plays of the game for McKinney, obviously, other than the interception. You just love to see the fire that he plays with, too. Even on that one, he was running stride for stride with Kittle. And, we actually got a really good throw. I can't remember this. What's the quarterback's name again from San Francisco?
Brandon. I keep forgetting it too. Brandon Allen, I think.
Okay, so Brandon Allen threw a dime piece, probably the best throw he threw all day. He put it right on the back hip of Kittle, and he basically threw Kittle open. And you could just see the frustration from McKinney, because he felt like he could have probably turned and got a PBU there, and he didn't. You just love to see that passion and that fire. A guy that wants to just be perfect every time and knows that he can't be, but is going to still chase it down. And you just love to see it, man. He is definitely the X factor, pun intended, for sure.
Definitely. All right. So up next, we get the Lucas Van Ness strip sack. This obviously came in. Where did this come in at? I'm trying to think here. The strip sack was fourth quarter, 12:37 left, 1st and 5 play. Again, we'll hit all these in great detail on Chalk Talk tomorrow. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like the stream, all that good stuff. Turn the notifications on so when we go live daily, you'll know when we're live. Sometimes the schedule gets a little wonky, as Matt LaFleur would say. But Lucas Van Ness beats a double team for the strip sack with the 49ers backed up at their own 15-yard line. Tim, notice LVN over here, he's kind of playing head up or on the inside shoulder of the tight end. So he's really what he's playing here is probably be what we would call I would call it probably a 6-eye. It's kind of what you're looking at. He's kind of playing the inside shoulder. Now the tight end's going to go out for a route here. Watch LVN beat him like a damn drum. They're going to block down, and then they got a couple of guys coming over. The running back's coming across. You can see where his eye is right now. I'm pretty sure it was the running back that blocks here. And then also you've got an offensive lineman that fades over. And LVN's already got a full head of steam, and he's just not having it.
Yep.
Strip sack. Kenny with the recovery. And Quay right there on the ball.
Quay right there too. Another guy that's always around the ball. Say what you want about my boy Quay Walker, but I mean, the footwork, eyes on the ball. Yeah, if Kenny didn't get it, Quay was going to get it there. And another great example of how much the Niners missed Trent Williams, because we were abusing the left side of that O-line all day long, and I love it. Great job by LVN.
Again, fighting through the block. I'm trying to see who actually kicks over. So it was the pulling offensive lineman there, right? How to get. There's a little bit of miscommunication there from the Niners offensive line, I believe. But
I was going to say who. Okay, so the guy in motion there was not coming over to sift.
Mm-hmm.
Was he actually?
It's weird. It was almost like some were run blocking, some were pass blocking. I know that's not the case. Everybody's definitely pass blocking there.
Like right? Who's supposed to chip LVN here?
Mm-hmm. I think that it's just strange, man.
Because nobody's touching him. I mean, he's still untouched. I mean, right past. Look, bye.
If the play is designed for the right guard to bluff to sugar that it's going to be a power run here with the like a power G run.
Yeah.
If that's the case, that's a horrible design by Kyle Shanahan. He tried to do too much. It's almost like he expected the guard to come over along with the running back after the play fake.
Yep.
To pick up that block. But all that matters is this is what you got with LVN. What he does well, he's a physical freak. When you come untouched off the line, you got a full head of steam. You're running through everybody. Look at this. Get off of me, little boy. Look at McCaffrey, bro. Yep. Yeah, we need to get a screen grab of that.
You know what I see on this play? If you can run it back right here, watch our boy TJ Slayton, 93. Just dog walk him backwards.
Oh, yeah.
Look at feet moving.
Eating that double team
up, freeing up opportunities. Look at LVN. I got to believe JJ Enagbare was going to beat his man, too. It was only a matter of time.
There he is. Yeah, you're right, man.
Shedding the block. This could have been real bad for the Niners on this one. That was just a thing of beauty. This is what we talk about. This is the difference between the Jeff Hafley system and the Joe Barry system. We are rallying to the ball. We're ball hawking and just crashing in, making plays, man. I love it.
I had to get a screenshot of that. I apologize if that upset the stream there, but I had to get a screenshot of our boy Christian McCaffrey. Like, what are you doing back here, bub? The ball's up here. What are we doing? So, anyway, great play by OVN. Absolutely awesome. We got to get ready to wrap this thing up. And, I think it is time, actually. We covered everything there on the old Twitter. Tim, this was fun, man. Victory Mondays are always great. It's going to be awesome. Continuing this tonight with the PFF grades. If you guys would take a quick second, hit that like button for us. Got a bunch of people watching in here. Feel free to sub to the channel. Thank y'all so much for making us part of your Victory Monday. Y'all could be anywhere in the world and you're choosing to hang out with this sucky show. We appreciate you. Tim, anything that you got, man?
No, that's about it. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this Victory Monday. Not too long because it's down to business, man. We got the Dolphins coming to town. And word on the street up here on the weather report is it's going to be chipper on Thanksgiving night. We could be talking 20-degree weather or a little cooler. Hopefully slows down that Miami offense a little bit, and we'll take it. We'll take it. Rome. Too bad we won't have Rome, but hey, I'm fully confident that we'll see our supporting cast step up in that receiver room, particularly my boy Malik Heath, who came out and had a few snaps, and all of them were memorable. Great job by 18 yesterday. So looking forward to seeing those guys step up. Tay Wicks, Malik Heath, Bo Melton. Should be a great game on Thursday. I don't anticipate a boat race like we had yesterday, but we'll take this dub. We'll enjoy the rest of Victory Monday. We'll enjoy watching this game on the All 22 for the 450th time, and get ready for Chalk Talk tomorrow. Looking forward to it, Clay. It's awesome.
Yeah, I rock. Get healthy, Romeo. Yes, sir. Yes. He makes Chalk Talk with one play, 29-yarder there on 3rd and 11. There was back-to-back third down plays where he made plays and kept the drive going. Just absolutely huge.
One of those was beautiful because he basically sold a go route the whole way and then broke off that post and got himself open, man. That was a thing of beauty for Rome. Hopefully it's not super serious. Like you said, with the concussions, it's always kind of a coin flip, right? How quickly can you clear the protocol? We saw it with Quay. Quay only missed a game and came back, right away after that. So prayers up for Rome, man. He was just starting to heat up, man. He was cooking yesterday. It was tough to see him go down like that.
Mike Berry in the chat said Clayton putting together a feet in the air montage. That's right. Just go to OnlyFans/Packer fan total. All right, this show sucks. Appreciate y'all.
Oh, my gosh.
Everybody have a great day. Enjoy Victory Monday. We'll be back later on this evening, 7 p.m. Central for Coach F, for PTA Live. Tim, thank you so much, buddy. It was cool hanging out. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. And go Pack, go.